Video, I'm going to share with you how to create the perfect email campaign for your business in 2023. But first, before we jump in, if you like this video, or if you know anybody who can benefit from it, hit the like, subscribe button, and share it with them. And if you are struggling with email marketing, I have a quiz below. Click the link, take the quiz. It'll help evaluate how your email marketing is going, or at least give you some feedback. So let's jump into it. How do you create the perfect email campaign for 2023 for your business? The answer is there is no such thing as a perfect campaign. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to help you break down how do you create a campaign that gets you results? How do you create email marketing campaigns that drive growth, that gets customers, that turns people that are interested into making them do things? All this really breaks down to coming up with a strategy, a game plan. And we're going to walk through the steps on how you can execute the perfect email campaign for 2023. So first thing is starting with your objectives. You have to be really clear on what you're trying to accomplish and be clear and specific. If you're trying to generate sales through email, if you're a B2B and you're trying to generate appointments where your salesperson is going to be able to close those deals, then that's what you need to be very clear about. If you have an e-commerce product and you're trying to get people to go to your site to buy your product, being very clear about that is a place where you want to start. You want to identify your objective and your goal. What are you trying to accomplish? After you've identified your objectives, now it's time to start thinking about the content. What is the message that you want to get across? At this point, you should have done enough research so you can identify what really resonates with your audience. What are they interested in? And how do you connect the dots? How do you build a relationship with them? So the next phase is content. Doing your research, understanding what your people are really interested in. A easy, or actually not easy, but a powerful way to do that is by interacting with your customers, your existing customers or your potential customers, getting on the phone with them. If you can meet with them in person, and ask questions about what they're interested in, see what they're willing to pay for. Find out if you have products that are similar to other products out there and you're aware that they pay for those products. Ask questions regarding that. All those things are going to help you build up ammunition in regards to your content. Your content needs to speak to how your audience thinks, what gets them to make decisions. So one is crafting that. One of the first steps after you identify your objective is making sure you can craft strong content. So next is designing the email. This really depends on if you're going B2B versus B2C. B2B emails, typically they're easier to get through to your audience without really doing a lot of design. If it's B2B. Now there's variations of B2B, but if you're doing cold messages, a lot of times you want to have the minimal approach to sending out your emails. And partially that is because spam and a lot of the email providers have tools that will block unknown email addresses that are sending stuff in, especially if it has a lot of graphics and HTML attached to it or within it. So you want to fly as low as you can under the radar to be able to get across and get in front of your audience. Now, so far you've designed a template, you have started with content. One of the most important pieces of content is the subject line. I like the idea of creating your content first and then you can come up with your subject line. You can play around with that idea, whatever works best for you. But one of the things you have to spend a lot of time on testing and coming up with the most powerful subject lines that you can come up with, because it doesn't matter how good your email is. If your subject line is not grabbing people's attention and is not catching, they're not going to open it. And if they don't open it, they can't see what you have inside. They can't see the offer. So spending time testing out, coming up with different subject lines. There's a subject line tester that I've used over the years through CoSchedule. It's free. It's a powerful tool to help you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't and what's a strong subject line. They use their own internal algorithm that rates certain words based on how they typically make people feel, the emotional power behind them or the messaging behind them. So CoSchedule is a free tool. definitely check that out. I'll leave a link below so you guys can check that out. The next thing is, so far we've covered, content, we've covered design, subject lines. Now let's talk about visuals. Now, what do I mean by visuals? Visuals could be a variety of things, but visuals, in my definition, are the things that you can share with your audience that they could take a look at, whether it's a link to a case study, link to your landing page. These are just examples of visuals that will be able to engage your audience. They share valuable content that they may be interested in that is going to help drive them to a decision or create more curiosity to make them want to take some kind of action with you. Now, this next one is, everybody knows about this, but how you execute on it is critical to your success or failure with using this tactic. Personalization. Personalization, if used right, you can relate to your audience based on the type of things that they're interested in, based on their niche, based on their curiosities. So within your campaign, you should be thinking about ways to personalize and build that relationship based on things that your target audience is interested in. You do a good job of that, you're going to build relationships over time. So then the next thing is, now that you have your campaign built out, you have your series of emails put together, you have to test it. Testing, I think, is an undervalued thing to do. A lot of smaller businesses want to just get emails out, and they just want to skip that space. You should spend a good chunk of time hyper focused on the quality of the emails that you go out. Granted, mistakes still can happen, but you want to give yourself the best chance, the best chance to create a great first impression in front of your audience. And one of the easiest ways to do that is test the emails, test the campaigns before you send them out. That could be sending it to your team. If you have copywriters on board, give them a chance to look at the content before you send it out. All these should be baked into your process before you launch your campaigns. And then once you've tested your campaigns, I'd say the final piece after you've set up your automation is optimizing it. All too often, you'll hear companies saying, "I just need one, good email series." There's no such thing as one good email series, and there's no such thing as creating the perfect email series or email campaign. You need to test and optimize the performance of your campaign. That means turning it live after you've tested it and did a QA check, and letting it run, looking at the data and figuring out what can be better about this campaign. And the data is going to tell you. If you have low open rates, then you know your subject line needs to improve. If you have great open rates but nobody's clicking on links, then your CTAs need to be improved. If you are having people open and click on those links but nothing's happening on your site, then there's something about your site, the experience there needs to be improved. So you need to be constantly spending time optimizing your campaign, not being satisfied with the status quo of the results that you currently produce. You should be figuring out ways to make it better, and the data will help you do that. So final thoughts, if you are launching an email campaign in 2023, those are some of the things that you need to really think about and plan for to create a really good campaign. And if you do those things and you wash, rinse, and repeat, you're going to see success, considering you have the right target audience and you've done your homework. So again, if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and share this video with anybody you feel this could add value to. I'll see you guys on the next video.